So tell everybody about NAB so far for Wirecast.
Yeah, so NAB for Wirecast has been great. We've got a number of locations where we're showing it off, including your booth here. We've got a Wirecast gear in the back, which is great, and it's working fantastically with your PTZ cameras because we're actually launching our first PTZ controller in Wirecast with you guys.
Yeah, that's going to make a lot of our Wirecast users, Mac users, happy to hear. The Wirecast does now have PTZ control, and it's kind of a fun little interface the way you guys have it. There's like an adjustable dot on a grid that you can click, and it can kind of pan and tilt at the same time.
Yeah, we call that the map view.
Okay.
And that was I think that was the innovation of one of our engineers, a brilliant guy who just realized that people kind of want to know where their camera's at in space, at any point. So it's, I think, one of my favorite features about the new PTZ controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Paul, sorry, again, I was just saying, I'm very sorry to throw a few extra things. I completely forget my passwords because they're always on an internal page. And so it's my fault. I can't get to my internal. I didn't realize.
All good. We are now live on our.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Oh, my mic's not on.
I'm pulling the chat up, guys. So I'll be with you in a moment.
My mic is completely out of battery.
All right, battery.
Oh my gosh, how do I deal with him? It's been an interesting experience here.
It's live.
Does the PTZ controller also have like an arrow version as well? Because we were just playing with the math version.
Yeah, so there's arrow keys that you can use from the controller. So if you really want to like fine tune it in, and so it's still a work in progress. It's the beta version of the software. So if you have some feedback that you're like, hey, I love this, but if you could just tweak that or tweak this, obviously we're going to roll it out fairly similar to what you're seeing now in this beta. But yeah, there's still time for some improvements and some polishing. So definitely, if you've got some thoughts there, we'd love to hear them.
I love that they are like listening to customer feedback and.
What else can you do in this industry, right?
I know. We always say that we source all of our show content from the audience and feature requests and with the collaborations that we do as well, we forward that on, and everybody seems to innovate accordingly.
Yeah, it definitely takes a village. Whether you are that's one of the things that I always get a little. I don't know, I kind of like raise an eyebrow maybe when somebody's like, crediting just themselves for their success and not realizing that every success I've ever seen has always been collaborative. I've never seen a self-made person, so to speak.
Especially in this industry.
Oh my gosh,
everybody
definitely.
seems to collaborate around here.
Yeah, the best ideas seem to float to the top, and it really just, the only skill that it needs is a good ear. Like,
yeah, to actually listen. And
Yeah.
that's actually a difficult thing to do for some people.
That's not always easy, sure.
Andrew just hosted, I just cut you off.
Oh, I was going to say, that's what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Andrew just hosted the NAB show, the official NAB show, and I actually have some footage from that. Do you guys want to play a B-roll clip and take a look at it?
Interview. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, Andrew had Sean Cannell, Daryl Eves on, and he was the host, and it really went well.
Yeah, and it was a Paul sandwich.
It was.
Thanks for sandwiching me in between those guys. That was great. It's the day 4 clip. Coming up.
Here we go.
You muted? Should be. There we go.
Well, looks like it's it.
That was great.
So-
You pulled it together in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that literally happened like an hour ago, so I apologize for some of the encoding, but
That was amazing.
just wanted to fill you guys in on what's going on at the NAB show.
Yeah, if you want to catch out that full interview, you can actually go watch it over at the NAB Show page. If you just type in or Google NAB Show Live, they've archived every day all the programming, and actually they're going to be they're going to be broadcasting their favorite things of NAB. It's like their sort of like home shopping network of NAB. Everyone like 50 different people like line up and bring on like cool stuff and talk about it. So it should be fun. That's going to kick off in like an hour.
Wow, cool.
Are you back to that?
I think I'm going to skip that. I might do it behind the scenes.
Okay.
I'm kind of done, I think.
I know, it's the last day.
I've got some booth stuff. I got to break down like our Vantage server and some other stuff that we're doing. But yeah, I'm going to try. I've been promising everybody on the Wirecast pages that I would do a behind the scenes tour of the MT360 studio. Cool. And I shot one on my phone, but I didn't live stream it. So I should probably just get it live. Otherwise I'll never get done editing.
We were just talking about the selfie streams and how people are loving them.
That's right. That's come up a lot. It's a new thing that I've been trying, and I really think it's working. Just go live. That was the thing. I think that was the number one thing I got from social media marketing world was just, and you said it today really eloquent, just do it. Yeah. Right?
So in the beginning of this conversation, it sounded like you guys were talking about the PtZ controller. I missed that
a little bit.
We actually have some B-roll that we can play for that too. Maybe we can start there, and then because this is a cool partnership. This is our PtZ-versary.
Yes.
So I mean, Wirecast is coming on board, supporting PtZOptics. This is a day to remember. Why don't we play that clip really quickly so that everyone out there can see exactly what it is? Here in the Wirecast 9.1 software that has full PtZ control. Why don't we take a closer look? So Wirecast now has, if you go to the window, a PtZ controller. And we've got a couple different options. We can use a full 3D map. We can also use the D-pad to go up, down, left, right. And then we can also use an analog controller to control. And Wirecast has done a really good job on the implementation of PtZ control. Not only can we zoom, we can focus. We can turn in and on and off focus control, so I can get very in-depth focus if I need to. Look at the instantaneous control there. I can turn it back on to autofocus. I've got full control of shutter speed and iris. I've also got all the white balance control. And here's my favorite part actually of this, is that, see this here? We can actually have a PtZ position, a PtZ preset actually added to a layout here. So let me show you how that works. So if I cut to this shot here in Wirecast, it will actually trigger a PtZ position to go to where I want it. And then if I just click that shot, now I've got an image representation of where the camera's going to go. So if I click one of these and cut to it, it actually goes to that position. And then a little secret, you click right there, it'll go to it. So again, now you can have all of these little pictures, representations of where the camera will go. So now from a single camera operator, a single video production professional can operate Wirecast to all their live streaming, all their video production, but also control multiple cameras and literally an unlimited number of cameras, presets, all at your fingertips to simplify your video production.
Paul, I could not have said it better myself, man. That's awesome.
So the biggest thing for me, and we also have this new keyboard I want to talk about too, but this allows a single Wirecast operator to control multiple cameras.
Right.
All in the interface. But and that's such a big deal, to not have to leave your video production software that you're focusing on and have the cameras go where you need them.
At last, the dream is here.
So let's talk about a couple of the features that you guys did, because you guys did a couple very unique things that actually nobody else is doing. The 3D map that we talked about, or it's not 3D, but there's a map.
Yeah, it's actually, and it's logarithmically scaled, so it's not a one-to-one. It's going to, you'll see as you go, but it just didn't make sense. With the range, the cameras can actually pan and tilt and zoom. There's just no way you could get like a one-to-one ratio of X to Y on the grid. So it scales accordingly. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I've never seen that before. The quick D-pad selection, so you can just use your keyboard and mouse really quickly, the arrow keys. I've never seen that before.
You did have the actual arrows on the display.
Yes, cool. You were saying, you were totally right. I haven't seen that in the UI. I've only ever been using the map view.
It's new, so you're still going to be.
The up, down, left, right may feel a little robotic, but as long as you're doing the pan, tilt, zoom off camera, and then cutting to the scene, the audience would never know.
Which you should
it seems simple, very easy. And then one of the most powerful things that I saw was the ability to have presets saved in the camera directly through Wirecast.
One of the benefits of the cameras.
And then recalling them when you cut to that Wirecast input.
Right.
So you want to explain it why and how all that works? Because that's a pretty powerful portion of it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So one of the things that Wirecast is well known for in our user interface is the shot thumbnails in the shot list. So basically you click on what you want and just stack them like a cake. And so it made sense that if a camera like a PtZOptics camera could have theoretically, how many presets?
Hundreds
of presets.
Hundreds, yeah.
So there, you probably never need that many, but you could have all of those presets, those shots, actually be different cameras or thumbnails on your timeline or in your shot list. And so if you want to click on preset 65 and have that right there, it's an easy click, and then you're not having to worry about getting the camera where it needs to go. All you're interacting with is your normal Wirecast thumbnails and shot list, and then everything's done behind the scenes. And then what's cool, even cooler, is that if you're using that camera, another angle, another preset live, the camera's not going to override the live. That's one thing Wirecast has always been, the live window is sacred. The preview window is where you tee everything up. But if you're actually using that camera for preset 65 and you actually want to jump to preset number 2, you tee up 2 in your preview shot, but 65 still stays in the live window until you take 2 live, and then it will take the orders. So it's cool. You can work with the same camera without accidentally triggering presets without meaning to. And then, of course, that works great if you have 2 cameras, because then you can constantly be, if that camera's not live, Wirecast knows and is smart enough to just go to the next preset because it knows it's not live.
Very nice.
I think the visual representation with those thumbnails, it just makes broadcasting so much easier, because trying to remember like preset 65 from preset 32 is like, what are those? But if you're looking at a whole bunch of little thumbnails and you see, I want to cut to seat 1, 2, 3, and they're right there for you. And I love how Wirecast, if you were like to set up a production, you could set up all of these presets and then you click and it automatically puts that thumbnail there, so it's customizable. So for me, because I've done a lot of these shows before, to actually see the person that I want the camera to go to, whether it's Sean Cannell or Daryl Eves, or Andrew Haley, to actually see a picture of their face and be like, oh, Andrew's talking, click that picture of Andrew.
Yeah, and of course, all the thumbnails you can set your own custom image for. You can save the frame, so it's not gonna, you'll be able to have everyone's face right there if that's how you like to work.
That's awesome. John in the chat says, the message to Andrew, big thumbs up to Andrew for the Wirecast studio license I won a few months back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Congrats.
Thank you, Telestream.
Hope you've been using it. Nice. Thanks for reaching out. Yeah, is he the only winner so far on the wheel?
I think
spin
so,
wheel?
yeah.
Okay, we got to get
We're going to spin one today, though.
We are spinning one today, and Wirecast is on the wheel.
Oh, good.
So we're happy to have gotten that for him.
So we talked about the PTZ control, which was a big deal, but I ran over and grabbed this.
Yes.
Such a big fan, and I think people are going to want to buy this even without the Wirecast gear, just with the regular Wirecast software and their laptops.
Yeah.
Because this, to me, made Wirecast make more sense to me. Because you got all the clear layers, it's designed perfectly for Wirecast, and for me, I really like this. I know a lot of the older school TriCaster user guys, they like that board, the physical board, and I feel like this is a huge deal for Wirecast to have the physical, even if you're a student, at a school, just to see the software not click, 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 really push buttons. This is a big deal, I think.
Oh, I totally agree. And one of the cool things, so I'd never actually held an X-Keys controller until this one arrived in the mail at Telestream. So I saw, and we have to, first of all, credit Bryce, one of the product managers at Telestream, for designing a layout. He went through a few different iterations.
Yeah, it's like a familiar interface.
It is. He tried. I think he did a great job, of taking everyone's feedback and also just laying out the buttons in a way that just makes sense with the way you're used to the software working. So it's not crazy if you're just used to the software, but then if you're an old school TriCaster type and you like a solid control surface, there's stuff for you there too. So it's really cool. And actually, so when I picked up the X-Keys controller for the first time, I was like, dude, this is heavy. This is like industrial. This is like the strongest USB controller I've ever seen. Yeah, it's insane. Like, they use real metal. Their keys and their buttons have weight to them. They got a good punch when you touch when you hit them. They're just great. So I can totally see why people love the X-Keys controllers and like to use them, because they are definitely combining the best of the USB programmable stuff with a really solid, good feeling controller.
One of the things that kind of blew my mind, and this is probably credit device, so let me hold this up for the camera, is that when you plug this in, it's programmed.
It's pre-programmed?
Pre-programmed. That's a pain in the butt with a lot of other software that use the X keys where you can do custom triggers and stuff. This is, when you plug it in, it works.
They're normally blank.
No, see, that's
and it
the part.
ships this way too, I was told.
It does ship that way, and you know, obviously if you have an X keys 128, then you can make the buttons lay out the exact same way. You could even use your own buttons with your own pictures on them, but they would still behave in the same way. And that's really cool. You just go into Wirecast, you select in the preferences, I'm using this controller, and you're done. And it should just automatically work. And the only thing that was holding us back was that we're Mac and Windows, so we needed to make sure that if we were going to do this, it had to work for both.
And it does?
PI Engineering did a great job of getting their drivers ready for Mac really quickly, and when it was ready, we were ready to pounce.
What a great collaboration.
So one of the things I think for Andrew, especially for your show, what I would do, this is a learning tool right here, because this breaks down Wirecast in a physical space. So I'd use the NDI Telestrator, you know, and circle things, but this made so much sense to me. Like, I didn't know what these were. And can you explain, because so just really quick, I want to break this down because it's so cool. These are clearing the layers. These are all your Wirecast layers. This is Rendezvous, which is pretty cool. But this right here, can you explain what this is? Because this is the mixed effects.
So it's great question. We already had some keyboard shortcuts that you could assign to shots and thumbnails in Wirecast. You could basically record your own keystroke in the keyboard manager, also in the preferences, and so you could quickly, you know, bind keyboard, like number 1 to, you know, that shot on that layer, and number 1 to a shot on a different layer. So you could program your own keystrokes. So what the X keys controller is doing is if you have, or you start to record those keystrokes for other things, then they will automatically bind the first 13 keystrokes that you record in that list will bind to these 13 buttons.
Wow.
And so whatever you have them do, they will execute. So whether you've got a playlist queued up with a media file that what you want to cut to another shot on a different layer or roll out, you can bind a keystroke to that playlist. If you want to bind a keystroke to shots, you know, 1 through 5 on all the different layers, you can pull them up in one button push rather than having to go down the row.
So you can lay out an entire scene for X, Y, Z, and just be like, because a lot of people, you know, not a lot of people are going super advanced yet. I know they can, and there's a ton you can do, but I'd say like a lot of people have like an intro, a middle, and an end, or something like that, and you could just have like the art, not without having to go all these buttons.
These
simplify
down
it down.
Are if you're looking for the flexibility and the versatility that Wirecast does, and then these up here are if you already know what you're doing and you just go 1, 2, 3, and you can already pre-assign everything and have it all.
And just going through the rest of this, because I feel like this tells the story of Wirecast a little bit here. This is the stream button, a nice big green stream. I can tell. No one told me. I just know it's a stream button.
Know, right?
That's the record button, the big red one. Then the ISO record, I'm guessing, just records all camera inputs. Is that the way it works?
Yeah. So it has to be configured. What it'll probably do, and I haven't messed with it yet, is if you don't already have an ISO record set up, then it'll launch the configuration window. So you'll just start configuring your ISOs. But if you already have ISOs configured, it'll just activate them.
Got it.
And so it's basically like a record button, but it also pops up to your configure. And actually, that's the way they all work. The stream button will pop up the stream configuration if you don't already have streams ready to go.
Stream, record, boom.
Yeah, stream, record, ISO, multi-viewer. Now, would that be, what would that do?
Multi-viewer. So if you, so if you have multiple displays hooked up to your system, and you have right here we have some displays here, and from your production system you're outputting the preview to one screen, you're outputting maybe the live to a different screen. By hitting multi-view, those would automatically turn on or off.
Very nice.
So it activates your outputs to other screens.
Dario asks, what's the name of the controller?
This is called we call it the X keys for Wirecast. You can go to telestream.net/X keys.
Is this shipping?
It's shipping.
So just to go through, because it really does tell the story, we've got the NDI button here. I'm not sure what NDI function that does.
Same thing. So those are all outputs. So stream goes out, record goes out, ISO records start or stop. You know, it's start and stop buttons for everything. Multi-viewer starts or stop. And then
that enables the output
NDI
of NDI.
Starts or stops.
Because you might not want it, if you're not using it, don't start it, right? If you're using it, turn it on, because it's going to take up processing power, obviously. Fade to black, simple, easy. Oh, live media. I wonder what that is.
And fade to black is a little mislabeled. You can't fit transition to black on a button like that. So it's really whatever transition you have activated in Wirecast. When you hit that, they all go out using that transition, all your layers.
Very interesting.
Live media is play and pause videos.
Okay. Oh, if it's in the live window, that makes sense.
Or pause it if you want to freeze on something.
And then the instant replay. This is one of my favorite things I've been playing around with. The instant replay.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And then you'd be able to just mark in and out. Like, so if there's like a score in a game, you mark it. So that. People love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's mark in and probably mark out.
Yep.
You just hit it twice.
So actually what happens with a mark in is that it's whenever, so let's say somebody scores a touchdown, you mark that, and then you've already, in your replay in the system, you've already told Wirecast how far back you want it to go. So if you want it to grab the last 30 seconds, from that mark point, it will grab the last 30 seconds.
Got it.
So that's what
cool.
it is.
So it starts it there, and then
But then if you missed it, or let's say it was a false start, it doesn't matter because you haven't necessarily created your replay shot. So you can keep marking as long as you like. But when you're ready, you just hit create, and that'll pop a replay shot ready to go and actually load it into the live window or into a template, and then roll out. Or it'll give you the chance to edit it more finely, and then you can roll it in.
For sports.
Big for sports, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and where can they find this again? The best place to purchase
Yeah,
this?
so Amazon's selling it, B&H is selling it, Video Guys are selling it, and Video Guys will give you it free if you buy a Wirecast Gear 230.
Woo.
So, if you buy Wirecast Gear 230, this comes with it.
I think it's for the next month. Yeah, it's
Wow.
like a special they're running.
Wow.
And then there's also a one more place. Oh, you can just go to the telestream.net/xkeys if you just want links to where to buy.
Cool. So we pretty much, we've gone over all this. There's some transitions here as well. The other thing, tying it back to the PTZ control portion of this, if these presets were tagged to camera inputs with PTZ positions, you could actually move the cameras by touching these as well,
Yes,
I believe.
that's what we've been doing at the demo booths here at NEB all week. It's the best part. You punch a button and the camera, if it's not live, just and if it is live, it just if you roll it in.
Wow. This is such a big deal. Xkeys has these controllers, but to have it fully outfitted, the time that you save, and the thought process, it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think they're 600, unless someone's selling them for less, but I think the list price is 600 on them.
Cool.
And when can people get the new version of Wirecast with the PTZ control, do we think?
Yeah, so Xkeys is out now in the beta of version 9. And by the way, the beta, I know we're calling it beta, but that was actually our release candidate before we decided we wanted to put some more stuff in. So it's a super stable beta. It's a great build. So you can pretty much use it now with the Xkeys controller, and there's nothing I would say to watch out for in that beta version. And then we'll be doing another beta with PTZ control. Well, I'm not sure. We may do one more beta with PTZ control prior to launch of 9, or we may just roll it all out in 9. And the goal is sometime in May.
So yeah, we haven't actually talked about what's new with 9.0.
Yeah, so you just went over some stuff. Like you've got the Xkeys control, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You've got the PTZ control, another huge deal. We've also decided to we've done some updates to the UI, so now you can search for sources. They're categorized much more. You can favorite sources, so if you use them from project to project, you just have a list of your favorite sources you always use. So you can spin up projects much faster if from scratch. So you just go to your favorites list and just add those. And
you always have the same lower third and things like that.
Well, it's not a media library yet. At the moment, it's just your physically connected controllers, cameras, all those sources.
The technology.
Right, and then if you use text and lower thirds, like those will be in their generic form at the moment. But I think the next goal for that is a media library, which would then follow you wherever you went. And then let's see, so we mentioned that. Oh, we also launched paired encoding for Facebook. So now Wirecast so it's great for social media managers and Facebook pages that have multiple contributors. Like you guys might consider using paired encoding, where if you want anyone, anywhere to be able to instantly stream to an event, you guys schedule or create, all they do is they ask you for a user code. And in Wirecast, or in your account, you can actually, when you set up the schedule a Facebook Live event, it actually uses paired encoder. If you click on that, it'll give you guys a code to give them. And that grants them permission. You guys still have the final say. You push it live from your management tools in Facebook, but they can just, you don't have to know copying stream keys, no anything. It just will hit your page, and then you guys will see it as like, hey, this Wirecast person wants to stream to me, and you can either authorize it to go live or not, but it's totally in your control. And now you're not having to give them page roles or admin credentials. You don't have to give them any passwords. Anything. You can
really
basically, it's pretty cool.
You guys have always been so far ahead of the curve with your Facebook integrations. I know you have even more than that. Is there anything, I don't know how much more time we have, but maybe 5 more minutes. You guys have some advanced Facebook Live stuff. Can we talk about some of those features?
Yeah, sure. So actually, we helped work on some of the API things with Facebook, because there were certain things that we, when they brought us in, before they launched the API to third parties, we just worked with them on things that they didn't have. So a good example would be the geotagging. So Facebook has the live map, which is a great discovery tool.
Yeah.
You can go and just
cool.
just tune in and see what people are streaming live, which is great. But they had never hooked that up to the API, the third-party API. So it was only people on their phones, and so people were noticing that they were getting more live views if they went from their phones than any third-party encoders.
Yes.
So allowing to geotag your streams from Wirecast allowed your Wirecast streams to appear on the live map. So you can get random stop-bys. So it's a great technique for people who are trying to get more audience and pull in more people. So that's an advanced API implementation.
Yeah, and let's just reiterate really quick, because a couple of people are asking, when will Wirecast 9 be available?
So to reiterate, the 9.0 beta is out now. It's in the Telestream Wirecast forums.
Great.
And you can go to the beta thread. Where we'll post all the betas. So go get it now. Go play with it. It's open license. It's a great place to get started. Geotagging and just messing around with the paired encoding and X keys. And then we will be launching the official release version of 9 probably next month, but I don't have an exact date to share with you.
Cool. So we shared a bunch of stuff that's kind of breaking news, exclusive stuff you'd only get from NAB Show from Wirecast today. Andrew and I have been having a lot of fun out here just interviewing people, trying to fit, because we both have live shows, and we're actually live on both our channels.
To hang out. And,
it has been a lot of fun. This is something I was really looking forward to.
Same.
So you guys, what was some of the best moments of NAB for you guys so far?
Well, getting on that big stage and also seeing Tess on the stage, because Tess has been live streaming for a year.
You were on there with Deborah Lee, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. On there with Deborah Lee. That was funny.
She was great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun talking about Facebook Live. So.
And it was just kind of like, Tess has only been streaming for a year, but she's already being asked to come up as an expert.
It just kind of shows the power of live video.
Yeah. And Facebook Live's only been out for 2 or 3 years, so you're making a big impact because it's so new, and you're using it in a good way.
Early in.
So that was great to see. There's
Magewell had a couple new releases that were really impressive.
Yeah, you might be interested in that. Magewell announced yesterday on our show an exclusive announcement that they would be providing all of their Magewell products are now going to be NDI compatible via software update.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A backwards compatible update, huh?
Yeah, backwards compatible update. Now they may actually charge for it. They're calling it the NDI bridge. But that came out yesterday. Some people were saying that it was like an in-between year, like not a ton of new products, but definitely a ton of new applications. Like we're just seeing it every year as we're just and a lot of just great minds coming together.
Yep.
Some people are moving to Twitch.
Yeah,
and talking about strategies and different things. Because you guys came out. Geeks Life. You guys were coming. When you guys came out with Facebook Live, you came out running. You were going exclusive to Facebook Live. Then I think you finally came over to the simulcast to YouTube and Facebook. But it's just so interesting. Now it's like people are doing exclusive to Twitch. How's that going to work out?
I know. I'm so curious. And then I also had heard, and I don't know if maybe you guys heard about this, but something that Vimeo or Livestream was launching, some sort of portable encoder. I'm going to have to go check that out after this booth, because I definitely want to find out about that too. But yeah, it's been cool. Like I feel like we're in the sort of mature, sort of early, maybe toddler years of Facebook Live and YouTube, and there's definitely some more platforms that are probably going to be announcing soon and getting in the game. And it's like this is the time to be doing live. This is the time to have cameras and then going all NDI on workflows.
Are we all lucky, right?
It's pretty cool.
It's a great time.
It's a great time to work in this industry. So yeah, it's been great. And I really want to say thanks for having me on the show today.
Of course, we love having you on. It was so cool to be able to meet people physically, to touch hands and hug and hang out. So
yeah, it's weird. I feel like most of the people I know from my video, I don't think I've met a lot of them in person. Most of them, I feel like I know them, but then I'm just shaking hands like, well, this is really the first time we actually touched skin. Like, that's crazy. I feel like we have been in each other's presence. So that's what's so cool.
Yeah, we've been on each other's show multiple times, spanning multiple years. That is not an anomaly. Everyone that comes to NAB says that. I know you. I finally get to see you. So it's a great chance. And a lot of our customers, a lot of our fans, a lot of the people in the chat room actually made it here, and it was just incredible. I think what was it yesterday? We had it's just been incredible. It's just been incredible.
I can't say enough about it, and I can't say enough about you guys, because everything you're doing is amazing, and I'm so privileged to be a launch partner with you guys for the PtZOptics. And I wanted to share this story for your audience, because we got to sit down with Paul and Tess. You guys got to hang out a little bit after the show, and the one thing I learned really quickly was how protective Tess is of her community and her audience. She really cares about you guys, and
Thank you so much.
It was awesome to see that. She definitely feels like she's watching out for you guys. So I just want to say thanks, and I'm glad to be part of your community.
And thanks for having our cameras at your booth.
Yeah, of course.
That was great. So we'll see you guys soon. Again, next we have on Scarhoy talking about controllers. We'll be back with you in a moment here.
The Casper Scarhoy coming on soon. Thank you, Andrew.
Hey, thanks.
That was great. That was great. And
all right, Casper, ready for you. Oh, picture real quick.
Yeah, I just want to give Casper a mic really quick. Really quick.
Casper a mic.
Sorry about that.
Good to see you, Rudy.
What's going on?
Right,
how you doing, man?
I love your setup here, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
What's up, buddy?
we are live,
Good to see you, buddy.
but we're just kind of doing it.
Good. I saw your announcement with that's awesome, buddy.
The batteries died. Yeah, sorry about that.
They push a lot of Wirecasts. Yeah. So I think we need to get a little tighter.
Thanks, Casper.
I agree. I totally agree.
All right, let's get a photo.
All right, let's get a photo. Jim, can you cut just some B-roll or something so we're not just showing my crotch?
We'll give you guys some B-roll, okay? We're staying live. But All right.
Transparent.
People will really be able to tell how tall Andrew is with me standing next to him.
All right, great. Thanks. So I'll stop your